Today, I hope to shed some light on how I approached Kuhlau Sonatina number 1, which I recorded a few days ago. Friedrich Kuhlau was born in 1786. That's about 3 years before George Washington took his oath as the first president of the United States. Kuhlau was born quite a bit after Mozart, and he was even younger than Beethoven. So he would be, also going into the Romantic period. But these sonatinas are really firmly still in the classical period. What is classical period? Classical period, the characteristic of the classical period is that they tend to be light and sparkling, the music and tend to be not having understated drama, so no big melodramatic chords and things like that, but it's still a lot of fun because one needs to think beyond these seemingly simple notes like this. Left hand. This running alberti bass. It's like, okay, all right. Simple stuff for the piano students. And most piano students get assigned this piece not without a really clear understanding about that this piece can actually be a lot of fun to play. Okay, so to make it fun for me, the reason why I enjoy this piece now as an adult, I can't claim that I enjoyed it when I was young, but now as an adult, what I enjoy is that I have control. I am making very conscious, intelligent decision on every single note that is printed on the page. That is what I think is very interesting. Most of the time, I think about control is of course the dynamics of every single note. The second thing that makes it very interesting for me is the fact that these pieces absolutely have no useful title to even give me a direction. This is purely abstract art. And abstract art means, oh, this is music. So I ask myself, what kind of scene in a movie would this music possibly support? What are the actions? What are the dialogues? And I try to put on some kind of thinking cap and then imagine, reverse engineer. I'm just thinking about the scene that this music could go with. Usually movie director is different, right? What they do is that they read the script first. They read the script and they says, okay, now how can I bring this to life with where I place the actors, and then, what kind of music I have to get somebody to compose or just grab it off the, some place and then just put it in. The music is a support because music sets the mood, right? And so we don't have the script. So we as stage directors are going backwards. We have the music, and now it's up to us to imagine the scenery and the action. All right, so let's talk about control. Which note should be loud, soft, how loud, how soft? We'll start with the first note. The opening note is just 2 things, 1 octave apart. Okay, here the right hand obviously has the melody, so the right hand is going to sing, right hand is going to be loud. The right hand is marked piano, but you know what? When I do go for the clarity, want to absolutely go for the sparkling clarity of the classical period, I don't care about this being piano. I play it practically a forte. So because I think the contrast is what makes things sparkle. All right, that is beautiful to my ears. Of course, you still have to think about the phrasing. So you have to try. Even though this could be this could be almost a forte, but by the time I get to here, it's definitely a forte. Oh, and then come down a little bit. Oh, yeah, okay. And also sometimes when they are, the other thing that I do for clarity or for the beautiful tone is when I have multiple notes coming down at the same time. Like for example here. Usually I will put the top note, anything on the outer note, the soprano and the deep bass as a louder note, because that's where you have the maximum contrast, right? It's a contrast that creates clarity. If you have a black and white picture, then everything just kind of like in the middle gray. What do you have? You're looking at a foggy scene, right? Everything just kind of like the middle gray, foggy, foggy, foggy. But if you want to have, like, for example, Ansel Adams kind of picture, you know that he has great contrast between the white and the dark, the bright white and the deep dark. They have to be there. They have to be present. So same thing with music. So I would put the top note to be louder. To practice that, I would just practice on the top notes, and then gradually bringing the lower note in. Okay, and of course the left hand at this part has a. So that in the bass, it's a bass is gonna be louder than the tenor there. And another thing that I would do for the clarity, the sparkling nature of the classical period piece, is to make sure that the pedal is never going to stay too long. You cannot have it too long. It definitely have to break, and the more it breaks, you have to break at a meaningful place. So if you watch the recording that I have done, I intentionally had taken off this piece, this stand here, so you can actually see the pedal going up and down, the damper going up and down, so you can see where the pedal was being done. Pedaling, it has to be lifted because that creates a sparkle. Finally, as far as the sparkle, when there's also a lot of what I call scene change. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit because I do want to talk about the stage directing. But here, there's also plenty of scene changes. Right there, it's a new scene. So it will be as if you just have clips or movie clips, and right when you change the scene change, then the sound also change. So I chose at this time to really pull back. And that did take me a little work. You cannot see it, but there's a lot of fine motor control going on there in order to not over punch this. Because it's my choice. I have choice. I can also come in very strongly. But I'm not going to go that because I'm just come in. This is now, maybe this is, I don't know. Anyway, let's just talk about the stage directing. So as I said before, the music, usually you will have the script. The stage director will read the script and then plan the stage actors and their drama, their body language, and then, usually then there will be the sound that comes in support it. But here we have the music, and there's no script. So we have to put on our thinking cap and thinking what is really going on. I think that's really where the fun is. I look at it as what's going on here. Maybe it's a happy rooster at a farm, or maybe not a farm, a courtyard in which he's just thinking that he's so great. Oh, I'm so great, so great today. He's so great today. All right. He's thinking that he's going to be spending all this day strutting around the courtyard and looking really good, because there's no other rooster in the whole place, right? He's the only rooster. And then later on, in the next phrase, you got this. What is going on? Obviously here, you got some dissenting voice. Somebody who says, you are so great. Well, let me tell you, trouble. You are not really what it is. It could be a snake. It could be a fox lurking behind somewhere. Or it can be an old hen who sees through his, self-conceit. Who knows? You have to make a story with it. All right. Okay. So that's that. Make up your own story, make up your own scene, and understand. And if you can actually put a scenery, at least a little sketch in your head, your fun will really increase a lot. All right, let's move on to the next movement, which is andante. Andante, what is the music saying? Well, let's play it. Which character is saying that? Obviously, there's a dolce. Dolce usually means that the melody sings and everybody else just support very quietly, okay? That's what dolce means, sweet, sweet. And let the main character sing. And so I imagine that this is a grandma and a grandpa in the scene, and the grandma is looking at her gray hair. Maybe this is the old farmer lady, okay? And she is saying, am I so old? Am I so old? Is it true? Is it true? Is it true that I am so old? Yeah, put some lyrics in there, because it's your imagination. And you don't have to be, you can be as corny as you want, because face it, nobody really needs to know what kind of corny lyrics you're coming up with in your head for this kind of thing, because all they're going to hear is just your music, just the sound. They are not going to hear your words. The words is for you to guide yourself through the piece. And then hear something. Oh, maybe that is the grandpa that is caught on, the grandpa farmer, okay? He is saying, oh no, my dear, you're still as beautiful as ever. Nice. And so, yeah, okay. So have fun with this thing. And obviously there are these repeats. Now don't look at those repeats as annoyance, as what I used to do. Think about repeats as opportunity to express yourself differently. Because truly, if this were a song, you probably would have different lyrics if you play it for the second time, right? And also, even if you don't have the different lyrics, you know that sometimes when we repeat ourselves, it's not because we're just boring people, it's because either we have something different to say or because we're getting more emotional. So show that through your music. Finally, you have this allegro. Allegro. So, what do we hear? Let's listen first. Which character do we have on the scene now? I'm gonna say it's maybe the little puppy. There's a little puppy coming out, puppy dog. Okay, this is a puppy in the same farmhouse courtyard. All right, and he is like, "Oh, this is fun! I'm so happy! This is a new day." All right, and then later on, in a little bit, you got this. What do we have here? Maybe his brothers and sisters are all joining, and so all those puppy dogs are just running around having a good time, and they're gonna probably spend the rest of this piece just chasing each other around, and then just kind of going here, going there, whatever. It's up to your imagination to picture this whole thing in your, just picture it out. And here I do have a forte. So here a forte. I will say this forte. So what I do between the balance of the melody and the supporting detail. Well, usually when I do forte, I am not trying to maximize the contrast between the loud and the soft, between the melody and the support anymore. In fact, I think it's great to have less contrast because we just want to have a lot of action, a lot of mayhem. All right. So, melody is still louder, support is not so soft anymore. Enjoy the rest of your piece. You know, you can, it would take me too long to try to tell you everything that's going on in my head. I think you get the idea. For enjoying simple thing like the Kuhlau Sonatina, spend your time thinking about how to make the classical music piece, classical period piece sparkle, lightness, but it still has drama. What kind of drama? It's up to your imagination. By using clues from listening to the melody, the forte, whatever, the dynamic written in there, and then put it in your imagination and then come up with a story, come up with a scenery, and then even come up with lyrics in your head. And then just enjoy, have fun. Doesn't matter how corny it's gonna be. At the end, people only look at your facial expression. They only see that you are enjoying yourself. And when you enjoy yourself, then doesn't matter how many wrong notes you put it out there. Your listener will also enjoy your performance.